live. You see they're dry. You see there's no marrow in the bone. You see they're scattered all over the valley. They ain't even full skeletons. I mean, the bones are scattered all over the valley. They're just bones. But answer me a question, Ezekiel. Can these bones live? Ezekiel answers the only way he knows how to answer. Lord, you know. Critical race theory was born out of critical legal theory. Am I teaching y'all something today? There emerged two common beliefs linking all critical race theories. First, white supremacy has subordinated black people and other people of color. That's just a fact. How in the world are you going to fight against that being taught in any school? White supremacy has subordinated black people and other people of color. That's a fact. Why don't you want that to be taught in school? You let your schools teach us that Columbus discovered America. That's a lie. You let your schools teach us that George Washington couldn't tell a lie. That's a lie. You let your schools teach us that some slave owners were beneficent and good slave owners. There were no good slave owners. Anybody who owned people was evil. That's a lie. You let your schools teach us that Abraham Lincoln was good for Negroes. No, Abraham Lincoln was trying to save the Union. And Abe Lincoln himself said if he could save the Union and keep black people in chains, he would do it. That's a lie. Come on, somebody. You let them teach us about a white Jesus. You let them teach us that Native Americans were the aggressors. Come on, somebody. That white folk had a manifest destiny and that the Pilgrims were good at Native Americans. That's a lie. All day, every day, you let them teach us lies. All throughout my history in school, I was taught lies. But you got a problem with critical race theory because it teaches the truth that white supremacy has subordinated black people and people of color. The right to bear arms. Let me just back up a little bit and let me take you on back to the late 1960s when Ronald Reagan was the governor of California. And they were oppressing black folk, and a group of men and women known as the Black Panther Party decided that they were going to defend the rights of black folk. And the Black Panthers decided that the Second Amendment wasn't just for white folk. So they strapped themselves with guns and showed up at the Capitol in California. And when they saw them Negroes with guns, come on, somebody. That's why I say if you ever really want to get gun laws changed, just strap all these Negroes up. They'll change them laws before the week is over. When the Black Panthers, watch this, I want you to read, the California legislator passed what was called the Mulford Act. It was a gun control act that decided who could get guns, who couldn't get guns, what could be in your background, what couldn't be in your background. It was the first time in history that the National Rifle Association, the NRA, supported restrictive gun legislation, all because black folk had the nerve to get strapped. Look at your neighbor and say, neighbor, go get strapped. Amen, somebody. Y'all gonna say Bishop told us to get strapped. I said it. Go get strapped. It just got real quiet up in here. But y'all already know I'm a triple P. Amen. Y'all know what a triple P is, right? A pistol packing preacher. Amen, somebody. Peace, family. Good morning, good morning, good morning to every one of you. Do me a favor. Y'all already know what it is. Like, share, subscribe, do all that good stuff. Let somebody know we're on the air right now. Got some music playing in the background that I can't play live because y'all know how Facebook does us. So do me a favor. If you want to listen in, go to TuneIn. Go to TuneIn Radio. Go to WTCCFM.org. Go to iHeart Radio. All of those places. And you can hear all of this. Gonna get some music on that you can listen to in a moment. But in the meantime, and in between time, tell a friend that Bishop is on the air right now. We finna get into some conversations about this racist gerrymandering that is going on in Texas. Y'all already know how they doing. They playing the games. They playing all the little games. Trying to go back to Jim Crow. And the crazy thing, y'all, is it's all happening on the anniversary week of the Voting Rights Act. 60th anniversary of the Voting Rights Act. And they decide, yeah, this is a good time to gerrymander, get rid of some black districts, suppress some black votes, and ensure that we can maintain the House in the 2026 midterm elections. That's basically what they're doing, all because Donald Trump told them to. But there's some legislators in Texas that said, hell no to the no, 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 hell to the no. And they've decided that not on my watch. We're not doing this. And good for them. Good for them. I'm glad that they had the fortitude to go ahead and stand up, because that seems to be where we've had a problem with Democrats. I forgot my Instagrammers. Let me get my Instagrammers on here. Good morning to the Gram. Good morning to the Gram. Good morning to YouTube. Good morning to Facebook. Little John Coltrane in the background, switching over to a little bit of Otis Redding. Y'all know how we do. Got Otis Redding popping now. We ready to go. TGIF. Thank God it's Friday. Thank God it is Friday. Tell a friend, tell somebody we are on the air right now. Well, we've had a problem with them. Rep your city, rep your town. Let me know where you are chiming in from. We're going to give you some action steps. We're going to tell you all about what's happening in Texas and why. Anticipating. 413-736-2781 is the number here. You want to chime in on the conversation? San Antonio, all right. I see you. I see you in the building. I see San Antonio, Texas, jumping up in here. Texas always be in the house, mainly Houston, but we'll take San Antonio. Where else y'all in from? I see Houston as usual. It makes it easier. Hey, Steve Burgess. Guess what? Deuces. You are suspended. Ain't nobody thinking about you. Your mama is misled. How about that? And your mama's a slave on the plantation. It's Friday. Don't get me started. It's Friday. I done dealt with too many coons this week. Coons and racists. I ain't in the mood for them on Friday. All right, let's go. Let's go. Talk to me.
Attitude says everything about you. Attitude is a little thing that makes a big difference. Every day you get up, you've been given a gift. That's why they call it the present. And it's up to you. I
see you, Allie, from the field. Rep your city, rep your town. Let's go. Yeah.
Stop replaying the movie. Why did this happen to me? When it's done with you, be done with it. If it seems like you keep running into pigeons,
let's go.
It's an indication that you're flying too low. So set your sights a little higher. Remember, eagles fly by themselves. If you can see the invisible, you can do the impossible.
You can do the impossible.
A stepping stone to propel you into new possibilities. So be discontent with your past accomplishment. You're only as great as your last success. So maintain your hunger and your passion. Remember this, within every seed there is a tree. In every tree there is a forest. Who and what you were born into is simply the environment to prepare you for your ultimate purpose. It was not a setback, it was a setup. Your purpose and potential is bigger than your past pain or problem.
Listen to your heart, don't let your mind fool you. Remember the talk that it gave to you. Whatever you do is gonna surely come back to you.
Successful people will do the things they hate to get the things they love. Much of life is about sacrifice. You gotta give up something to get something. Success is not
good morning.
But it's what you have overcome. For it's the test that you pass in life which qualifies you for the next level. You have to be willing to face your challenges and overcome them. Most people drive 12,000 miles a year moving forward, but most accidents are caused when they move backwards. You gotta stay focused on what's ahead of you instead of what's behind you. It's your daily routine that determines your success or failure. Whatever you practice at is what you become great at. What's more important than being intelligent is having the right attitude. Respect costs you nothing, but it will cost you everything not to have it. So don't be too smart for your own good. Remember, a hard head makes a soft heart.
90.7 WTCC. Good morning and welcome to another edition of the Black Love Experience. I'm your host, Bishop Talbert Swan the second. And TGIF, thank God it's Friday. I want to thank my fraternity brother, Deacon Ernie Johnson, for bringing us up until the 9 o'clock hour at Friday morning inspirations. You can hear Deacon Johnson every Friday from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m., bringing you the absolute best in gospel music. Do me a favor, those that are chiming in through our social media spaces, rep your city, rep your town. If you're in our Twitter space, on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, wherever you are, rep your city, rep your town. Pensacola, New Jersey is in the house. Springfield, Massachusetts is in the house. Chicago is in the house. Grand Rapids, Michigan is in the house. Cherry Hill, New Jersey is in the house. Charlotte, North Kakalaki is in the house. Atlanta is in the building. Cincinnati's in the building. Quebec is in the building. New York City is in the building. Los Angeles is up in the building. Houston is in the building. San Antonio is up in the building. Who else is in here? San Antonio. Okay, I see you. The field. I see the field jumping in, representing Charlotte again in the building. All right. Hey, baby girl. That's my granddaughter Kaya from Chicago. She's in the house. Savannah, Georgia is in the building. Sacramento County, representing the whole county in California, is up in the building. Other grandbaby is in here. Atlanta is in the building. Seattle, I see you, Seattle, up in the building. Good morning. Salem, Winston-Salem, North Carolina is up in the building. Welcome to everybody from everywhere. Always good to be with you all. And wow, we got 32,000 of you in the Twitter space. Good morning to all of y'all. New Hampshire, Concord, New Hampshire is in the building. Good morning. Wait a minute, that's Annie Beard. You in New Hampshire? Okay. You must be visiting. Anyway, y'all see what's happening in Texas. Racist gerrymandering. That's the reason why you see that as the title of this program. We're going to get right into the conversation. We're going to take a short break because we always do a little bit of spoken word from my late sister on here. So we're going to do that. We're going to play our disclaimer. And then we're going to get right into the conversation. I need to kind of set the stage. Some of our younger folk don't know what gerrymandering is or any of that. And we're going to tell you all about what's happening in Texas and why. So don't go nowhere. Don't touch that dial. Keep it locked right here. Tell a friend, tell somebody Bishop is on the air. Do me a favor, like, share, subscribe. Do me a favor and let me know that you shared. And we'll be right back with our conversation. Don't go nowhere.
You
say you sold out cause black women are loud and crass. What? And your precious white woman is the epitome of class? Are you so blind that you cannot see?
That pale girl child ain't got nothing on me.
For hundreds of years we have stood by your side, accepted your flaws and allowed you your pride, bore your children and cleaned up your mess, satisfied your lust and always settled for less. We have stayed in the background and allowed you to lead, trusting in your strength and ability to succeed.
All right, let's go, family.
Never getting the praise and credit we deserve, but having the courage, the will,
And the nerve.
for being the backbone that has kept it together for you and our children in all kinds of weather. And now suddenly you say we're not good enough for you. We forced you to sell out because of the things we do. Well, where was that white woman when that white man you hate
Was cracking the whip?
in the boardroom, the warehouse, and on the slave ship? She stood by his side and didn't say a word, waiting for her own chance to rule and be heard. And now it's her you turn to and treat like a queen? And me and my sisters you choose to demean? Well, hold up, wait a minute, and stop the damn bus. Because there are a few things I need to remind you about us. Listen up. A more beautiful creature God never made than an African woman, no matter her shade. High, yellow, red bone, or cocoa brown, we are more than worthy of wearing a crown. Ebony, mocha, or black as the night. It is we who have always shared in your plight. We are passionate, spiritual,
Loving and kind.
A more generous heart you'll never find than the one that beats inside the body of a Nubian queen, the hardest working, loving, giving woman you've ever seen. For we give and forgive until there's little left. Then we're forced to put up our guard to avoid your theft. The theft of our hearts and our trust, the very nature of our soul, by our
So-called brothers.
who are just playing a role. And you wonder why some of us act as we do? Take a look in the mirror, because the answer is you. It's not enough that the white man has always tried to keep us down, but our own men act as though they'd love to see us drown. And white women have never invited us to join their equal rights struggle. So we're out here alone with a million things we juggle, raising the children that black men leave behind. And
All right.
The racism of the daily corporate grind. Damn, it's no wonder some of us are loud. Hell, we're just
Trying to be heard.
A world where everyone, including our men, ignore our every word. Where are the brothers who understand a black woman's worth? Right here, I got who will protect and stand by us? We are the salt of this earth. We birthed you, raised you, and showered you with love. It was we who taught you.
Instagram tripping again. Trying to restrict how much music I can play. Did you hear that? .7 WTCC. That is a response to the sellout. And you know who you is. Bad English, but that's good preaching. 90.7 WTCC. Good morning to everybody from everywhere. I appreciate y'all so much who've been rocking with me for the last, this is the 25th anniversary of me being on the air, and this year it marks 25 years, and I just want to say I appreciate those of you who've been with me all 25 years, and those who have come on at various points during the 25 years, but who consistently rock with me. Always good to be with you. 413-736-2781. Let me see if I can get the number up here for those of you that are watching. Let me see. They done changed some stuff on here, so sometimes
There we go. Sometimes it's difficult to find stuff like I used to. There we go. All right, let's go. 413-736-2781. Talking about this racist gerrymandering that is happening in Texas. And it has widespread implications across the nation. It's not just about Texas. You got to understand, it's about the U.S. Congress. It's about control of the government. It's about everybody. So you all need to understand why this is important, and it's important for us to act no matter where we are in the nation. Let me play this disclaimer, so we know that the views and opinions are definitely mine.
Opinions expressed on this program are solely those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect those of the staff or management of WTCC Radio or Springfield Technical Community College.
So it is vitally important that we have an understanding of what's going on, why, and what our response should be. I don't think it's a coincidence that this is happening 60 years after the Voting Rights Act. Now, I want to remind you that the Voting Rights Act has been unenforceable for the last 12 years. Many components of it, mainly because in a Supreme Court action in 2013, they basically got rid of Section 4, which made Section 5, the actual enforcement, unenforceable. Because the formula that determined who fell into preclearance was abolished. So no longer, I see my wifey on here. Good morning, baby girl. First Lady Cynthia Swan. So since no one automatically falls into preclearance, they can pass draconian voter suppression laws and do all kinds of things, and then it has to go fully through the court system. Whereas before, because of the Voting Rights Act, those who fell into preclearance, when they tried to do funny stuff, the Department of Justice had the full authority to stop them. That no longer exists. And they're going after other sections of the Voting Rights Act as well, because they're still trying to silence black voices through the black vote. So it was on August 6th, 60 years ago this week, that the Voting Rights Act was signed into law. And it in essence was a promise that black people would never again be denied the ballot. If you've never listened to the speech by Malcolm X, The Ballot or the Bullet, go back and listen to that speech. But here we are in 2025. The Voting Rights Act was passed the year I was born. So I want you to understand, I want you to get the wisdom of this, because people always act as if the civil rights struggle and all those things is part of ancient history. That black people being denied the right to vote, excuse me, or the black vote being suppressed is a thing far off in the distant past. I want you to get this. The Voting Rights Act was passed the year I was born, which means my father, who is still alive today, and my mother, who is still alive today, one generation ago, my parents did not have the full legal right to vote until they were grown. I want you to get that. I see you, East Windsor, Connecticut. Until they were fully grown, Pastor Mark Bayman, good morning. They were fully grown. I see you, baby girl Katura, my granddaughter. Yeah, my dad and my mom were full-blown adults, married with children, before this nation gave black people the legal right to vote. It ain't ancient history. It's stuff that has happened in our lifetime. So when people start talking about affirmative action and these types of things, it's been long enough. It's amazing how you can spend several hundred years oppressing black people, and then when something is put in place to ease that oppression, you want it to stop 10 years later. That's long enough. That's long enough for the voting rights. That's long enough for the... Well, let's have the remedy as long as we had the problem, at least. You follow me? So if we had voter suppression, slavery, Jim Crow, murder, rape, brutalization, and dehumanization for 400 years, let's have affirmative action, voting rights, and all those things in place for 400 years before y'all start complaining that it's been in place too long. So what has happened now is Agent Orange and Governor Hot Wheels, they came after Jasmine Crockett for saying it, but I can say it, and I don't care what y'all got to say about me. Greg Abbott, Governor Hot Wheels in Texas, and the Texas legislature are proving that the promise of black people never again being denied the ballot is still under attack 60 years after the Voting Rights Act. Trump told Abbott to create 5 new Republican congressional seats. And how do they plan to do it? By ripping apart districts where black and Latino voters choose their leaders. This ain't politics, y'all. It's targeted racial disenfranchisement. Texas is 40% white, yet white voters control 73% of the seats in Congress. Without black, Latino, and Asian population growth, Texas wouldn't even have the seats that it has now. It is because of the growth of those non-white populations. Remember now, congressional seats are based on the population. The higher the population in a state, the more congressional seats it gets. So it is because of the growth of the population of black people, of Latinos, of Asians, that Texas gains more seats in Congress. Yet, the way it carves up its districts is to make sure those seats go to white people. Every new seat that they create goes to white voters. And now they want to slash black representation in Congress down to possibly 1 seat in the entire state of Texas. 1 seat in the entire state of Texas. Now remember, Texas has the highest population of black people in the nation. Not percentage-wise, but numerically. More black people live in Texas than in any other state in the country. The court just heard a case on Texas maps. But instead of waiting for a ruling, Governor Hot Wheels and Agent Orange are trying to ram through this gerrymandering before the next election. And when Democratic legislators walked out to stop it, walked out, left the state, left the legislature without a quorum, so they couldn't vote on this racist gerrymandering, Governor Hot Wheels threatened to have them arrested. Threatened to have them arrested. They've been hiding from bomb threats, just like the terror tactics of the Jim Crow era. 60 years after the Voting Rights Act, they're spitting on the graves of those who died for our right to vote. They're spitting on Medgar Evers' grave. They're spitting on the graves of Goodman, Cheney, and Schwerner. They're spitting on the grave of Reverend Reb. They're spitting on the grave of Martin Luther King, even though come January 15th, all these racist folk will be posting quotes by Dr. King. And brothers and sisters, this is a warning. It's a warning for the nation. If they can steal representation in Texas, they can steal it anywhere. And we cannot afford to sit quietly by and let them do it. We can't sit quietly by and act like it's not our problem. It's just Texas's problem. Hope on X, you got the microphone. Hope, unmute your mic. All right, Hope going once. All righty, we tried to get you on. 413-736-2781, and if you want to chime in, you can definitely put your request in, but when I call on you, you got to answer. All right, because we're live on the radio, and we can't have that dead space waiting for you to unmute the mic. So brothers and sisters, this ain't politics. It's pure racial discrimination. Agent Orange and Hot Wheels are trying to create 5 new Republican seats. And the targets are districts where Black and Latino voters choose their leaders. Okay? This is not democracy in Texas. It's domination. Again, I want to reiterate, I want to underscore, again, without Black, Latino, and Asian population growth, Texas wouldn't have the congressional seats that it has. They're trying to cut representation of Black folk in Texas, the place where more Black people live than anywhere else in the nation, down to 1 seat in the entire state. 1 seat. And they're doing it all during the week of the 60th anniversary of the Voting Rights Act. And the legislators that have been bold enough to fight against this are being threatened with arrest. They're hiding from bomb threats, just like the terror tactics of the Jim Crow era. Brothers and sisters, this is not about redrawing lines. It's about suppressing Black political power. That's what this is about. And so what do we have to do? I'm glad you asked. And before, probably give me another 10 minutes, and we're gonna get to the call to action. We're gonna get to the call to action. For the younger folk in the audience, it's always good to have a framework, to have a context from which to work, to understand history. Many of us lived this history. Many of our parents lived this history. And it's good that if you are younger, especially since they're trying to get rid of history, trying to modify, trying to suppress history, trying to revise history, had the Smithsonian removed Donald Trump from the impeachment exhibit, even though he was impeached twice. So they try to literally revise history right in front of our face. You need to know it. It was on August 6, 1965. Then President Lyndon Baines Johnson signed the Voting Rights Act into law. It struck a decisive blow against Jim Crow era tactics that had long disenfranchised black voters. Black codes, all kinds of tactics they put in place to keep black people from being able to vote. 60 years later, Trump and Abbott and the Texas legislature are proving how fragile those hard-won gains remain. That just like that, they can be abolished and removed. Because this is a move straight out of the segregationist playbook. Trump pressuring Abbott to engineer this creation of 5 additional Republican-controlled congressional seats. And this plan was hatched not out of population necessity, but out of raw political fear that they would lose control of the House in the 26 election because of the wildly unpopular policies that this administration is putting forward. So they want to accomplish maintaining control of the House through aggressive mid-decade gerrymandering. It's a process that has been deliberately designed to weaken the voting power of black and other non-white communities and to cement white conservative control of the U.S. House of Representatives. It's not about partisanship. It's about race. The Texas NAACP did an analysis that exposes the truth that the targets of Trump and his administration are 4 congressional districts currently represented by candidates of choice for black and Latino voters. In these districts, they can elect black and Latino representatives without the need for any white voter coalitions. These include the 9th District, the 18th District, the 29th District, and the 33rd District. All of these seats have their very existence rooted in the protections of the Voting Rights Act. And so this is a direct attempt to dismantle black opportunity districts and diminish the political voice of black people and other non-white folk in the state of Texas. The demographics make this injustice plain. Texas is 40% white. White voters control 73% of the congressional seats. Black, Latino, Asian populations account for the majority of Texas's growth over the last 40 years. And it is what has given the state additional congressional seats. Without these population increases since 1980, Texas would have fewer congressional seats today than it had in 1965 when the Voting Rights Act was passed. And yet, when Texas gained 2 new congressional seats recently, both were awarded to white voters. So now Agent Orange and Governor Hot Wheels want to take it further. They want to reduce black-controlled congressional seats to just 1, down to just the 30th district, which I believe is the seat held by Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett. And that seat was created in response to the 1965 Voting Rights Act. And so this is not just racially discriminatory. It's racially strategic. It's about rolling back decades of progress in a single stroke. And to make things worse, when Democratic members of the House staged a courageous walkout to deny a quorum and to block this attack on voting rights, Abbott threatened to have them arrested. What was their crime? Their only crime was protecting democracy. They've been forced into hiding at an undisclosed out-of-state location. And even then, they became the targets of a bomb threat. The bomb threat. Threatening to blow them up. That's what's happening in America in 2025. Threatening to blow black people up in 2025. Happening the week of the 60th anniversary of the Voting Rights Act. This is not a coincidence. It's a deliberate insult to the memory of people who bled, were beaten, and who died for us to have the right to the ballot. It's a declaration from white supremacists in this nation that the rights that were won in 1965 are not going to be permanent. That they are privileges that white folks can strip away from us whenever it becomes inconvenient to white political power. And we've got to meet this moment with the same resolve as our forebears. The struggle for voting rights has always been about the survival of democracy itself. And today, just like in 1965, the forces of white supremacy are willing to destroy democracy to preserve white supremacist political power. So I submit to you that not only is history watching, young people are watching. Future generations are going to ask what we did when they came for our vote. And the question is going to be, can we answer that we fought back with everything that we had? Or that we just sat by on TikTok and on Instagram and distracted and doing whatever we do. Because that's the problem, brothers and sisters. If in spite of everything that is happening in this nation now, if we are just still sitting by doing nothing, that's a problem. Somebody ought to type in the comments, what are you doing? Let me see if I can find Brother Malcolm. Might be a good time to do a little bit of edumacation. Let's see, the ballot or the bullet? Some of you older folk know what I'm talking about. Some of you young folk, y'all have no clue what I'm talking about. There we go. All right, it's long. We can't listen to all of it, but let's.
They become dissatisfied, and in their frustration, they want action. You'll see this young black man, this new generation, asking for the ballot or the vote. That old Uncle Tom action is outdated. The young generation don't want to hear anything about the odds are against us. What do we care about odds? When this country here was first being founded, there were 13 colonies. The whites were colonized. They were fed up with this taxation without representation. So some of them stood up and said, liberty or death. So I went to a white school over here in Mason, Michigan. The white man made the mistake of letting me read his history books. He made the mistake of teaching me that Patrick Henry was a patriot. And George Washington wasn't nothing non-violent about old Pat or George Washington. Liberty or death was what brought about the freedom of whites in this country from the English. They didn't care about the arts, while they faced the wrath of the entire British Empire. And in those days, they used to say that the British Empire was so vast and so powerful when the sun would never set on it. This is how big it was. Yet these 13 little scrawny states, tired of taxation without representation, tired of being exploited and oppressed and degraded, told that big British Empire, liberty or death. And here you have 22 million Afro-American black people today catching more hell than Patrick Henry ever saw. And I'm here to tell you, in case you don't know, that you got a new generation of black people in this country who don't care anything whatsoever about odds. They don't want to hear you old Uncle Tom handkerchief head talking about the odds. No. This is a new generation. If they're going to draft these young black men and send them over to Korea or South Vietnam to face 800 million Chinese. If you're not afraid of those odds, you shouldn't be afraid of these odds.
Brother Malcolm, y'all.
Why does this loom to be such an explosive political year? Because this is the year of politics. This is the year when all of the white politicians are going to come into the Negro community. You never see them until election time. You can't blame them until election time. They're going to come in with false promises. And as they make these false promises, they're going to feed our frustrations. And this will only serve to make matters worse. I'm no politician. I'm not even a student of politics. I'm not a Republican, nor a Democrat, nor an American, and got sense enough to know it. I'm one of the 22 million black victims of the Democrats. One of the 22 million black victims of the Republicans, and one of the 22 million black victims of Americanism.
So that's Brother Malcolm, y'all. And listen, Malcolm was before his time. I'll throw that back on for about another minute before I get off the air. But I need to give you these action steps. Coming up at 10 o'clock is Mid-Morning Jazz, great black music. Don Felton's in the studio. He's going to make it smooth and personal, so keep it locked right here on 90.7 FM. First, I think we've got to stand with the Texas legislators. They are literally risking their lives and facing bomb threats and all of that to protect our vote. So we need to support them. We need to amplify them, and we need to do whatever we need to do to protect them. All right? We need to call and write Governor Hot Wheels and those in the Texas legislature. Tell them to stop this mid-decade redistricting. Redistricting happens every 10 years. It just happened in 2020. It will happen again in 2025. That they need to keep Black and Latino opportunity districts intact. And here's the thing, let me tell you something, and call it what it is. Call a thing a thing. Tell them it's racist. What kills me is the thing that racist white people hate to be called the most is a racist. They don't mind being racist. They just hate being called a racist. Yeah, white folk have no problem with being racist, but they can't stand when you call it what it is. Call it what it is. Contact Congress. Demand federal voting rights protections that ban racial gerrymandering. Contact Congress. Then those of you who live in blue states where Democrats are in control, call them, call your representatives, and encourage them to fight fire with fire. Stop trying to be, the adults in the room. Stop trying to take the high road and all of that. Stop bringing a knife to a gunfight. If they're going to gerrymander to get more congressional districts, then tell Democrat-controlled states, tell Illinois and California and Massachusetts and New York that get to gerrymandering and create more seats to counter what they're doing. Stop trying to appeal to their humanity because they don't have any. Stop trying to appeal to their good angels. They ain't got no good angels. Okay? Fight fire with fire. And then educate your circle. Because this is how they steal power. Not by taking your vote, but by making your vote meaningless. Let people know what's happening. Stop the distractions. Stop for a minute and find out what's happening around you. And those of you who know, incorporate your people into this. Let them know how serious the times that we live in are. And then we got to speak up. Because the moment we become silent, they win. When our voices are muted, they win. Challenge your people to speak up. Challenge your preachers. Oh, we don't talk about politics in our church. Yeah? Listen, let me tell you this. I tell people this all the time. You're not technically born until a politician signs your birth certificate. You're not technically dead until a politician signs your death certificate. And everything that happens in your life in between birth and death is controlled and influenced by politics. So to sit here and say we don't talk about politics is completely irresponsible. You got to deal with the things that affect the people. And the moment we become silent is the moment that they win. I got to move out your way. I'm going to stop by the Greater Massachusetts convocation this evening at Macedonia Church of God in Christ on Tinkham Road. My good friend Bishop Frank White will be preaching tonight. Frank White from Long Island, New York. So those of you who are inclined to come, stop on by at 7:30 p.m. If you're looking for a place to worship, check us out at the Spring of Hope Church of God in Christ. We're located at 35 Alden Street, Bishop Talbert Swan Way, right here in Six Corners in Springfield. The Brick Church right there at Six Corners. We're building better tomorrows by changing lives today. Would love to have you with us. And check me out again on Monday on the Spoken Word. We'll be right back with you. Coming up momentarily is Don Felton. He's coming up with mid-morning jazz. Gonna make it smooth, gonna make it personal. We're going out with a little bit of Malcolm. And until the next time I talk to you and you talk to me, always remember God loves you, and so do I.
When we open our eyes today and look around America, we see America not through the eyes of someone who has enjoyed the fruits of Americanism. We see America through the eyes of someone who has been the victim of Americanism. We don't see any American dream. We've experienced only the American nightmare. We haven't benefited from America's democracy. We've only suffered from America's hypocrisy. And the generation that's coming up now can see it. And I'm not afraid to say it. If you go to jail, so what? If you're black, you were born in jail. If you're black, you were born in jail. In the North as well as the South. Stop talking about the South. Long as you're south of the Canadian border, you're south. Don't call Governor Wallace a Dixie governor. Romney is a Dixie governor. $22 million black victims of Americanism are waking up.
All right, family, I'm out.
Gaining a new political consciousness.
Peace and blessings.
Becoming politically mature. And as they become developed.
For all the brothers that passed,
How you feel?
I'm great. How are you?
Good, good.
I remember my sister.